County Board of Commissioners meeting this beautiful 13th day of November. Prior to starting each meeting, we always ask for local clergy to come and lead us in prayer. This morning is no exception. Pastor Jason Bowman is here from Solid Rock Church. Thanks for being here. Podium's yours. Would you please lead us in prayer?
Thank you, Mr. Painter. Thank you, everybody, for being here today. Would you bow your head and pray with me? Heavenly Father, we thank you that this is the day you have made, and your word says we can rejoice and be glad in it. We thank you for a great nation, and we thank you, O Lord, for Jesus, who was born to set us free from sin. We ask, O Lord, that you'd cover this nation. We know that unity is your desire, so we pray that you would break political division and racial tension as you surround us with love. In our county, Lord, here in Clermont County, we ask you that you would continue to break chains of addiction to opioids, and physically and in the spirit, and teach us how to prefer one another. Locally here, Lord, we pray for wisdom now to be given to Ms. Corcoran, Mr. Painter, and Ms. Batchelor. In financial decisions and fiscal responsibility, we ask that you would guide them to be good stewards of taxpayer dollars. In other decisions, Lord, we pray that, like Solomon, you would help them to be just and have wisdom beyond their years and those who surround them. And we pray, Lord, that you would grant them more wisdom. For you said if we ask, you would give it to us liberally. Surround them with faithful, creative, and hardworking people as they go forward in their elected positions. For we know that you give us the tools that we need to accomplish our destiny. Most of all, Lord, may we all cling to mercy and truth. For in doing so, in Proverbs chapter 3, you said we would have good understanding with God and with man. Thank you for your mercy and your wisdom and your direction as your kingdom comes and your will is done. In the name of Jesus, we pray. Amen.
Amen. Bishop Batchelor, would you lead us in the Pledge
Yes,
of Allegiance?
thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'll go ahead and call this meeting to order. We'll start with the agenda. The first order of business is the approval of regular session minutes of 10/30/24. Board, you've had these minutes, had an opportunity to review them. Do I have a motion for approval?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
It's been moved and second. Any conversations need to discuss? Roll call, Gail.
Commissioner Batchelor?
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran?
Yes.
Commissioner Painter?
Yes. Item number C is public participation. We have reached that portion. If there's anyone in the audience that would like to address the board during this time, the board does not answer questions or engage in a debate. No member of the public will comment about a matter that is not within the purview of the county commissioner's responsibilities. The commissioners are not expected to comment on matters brought to the board during this time. However, the commissioners are free to comment if need be. Each speaker shall only speak once and be recognized by the board before speaking. In accordance with the board's rules of procedure, comments are limited to 5 minutes, and the public participation session is limited to an overall of 30 minutes. Is there anyone in the audience who'd like to speak?
I'm ready.
Absolutely. Take the podium and tell us who you are and where you live.
My name is Dennis Burnett, 2152 Union Chapel Road, Batavia, Ohio. Congratulations on re-election.
Thank you.
All right. I was here a little over a month ago. Got problems with the Permit Central. They're just acting on vengeance. I've done everything proper. Been cited. I got cited for offense. I got cited for my property. My neighbor made a complaint back in April of 2023 about something, and he caused. He built up his driveway. He brought a shed in, put it on my property. He caused a swamp area on my property, a small area, about the size of this little area right here. Not that big a deal. I brought in a little bit of dirt to get rid of the water, the mosquitoes, the pests, everything. I couldn't even maintain that property. Neighbor filed a complaint in April of 2023. All lies, saying I did this. The first thing they did was they charged me with mass excavation. Physically impossible. I proved it. I sent pictures. I talked to Bruce Crace. Everything was fine at the time. Talked to Bruce Crace, gave him pictures and everything. And at the time he was civil. He he was going to come out and see me. I was waiting for him to give me a date, and I told him I was going to get a peace officer out there because I was getting accused of all kind of stuff from my neighbor, and I just wanted a peace officer, to protect me. I think that spooked him or something. He never came out. This happened all last year, like I said. So then he decided instead of coming out and seeing me, doing his job, he decided to file against me again. Since the mass excavation didn't work, they decided to charge me with water. What's the right word? Water disbursement or something, whatever. And I proved that's wrong. Water runs downhill. You can't stop it. My neighbor built up his property with gravel, said it wasn't illegal for him to do that. But he changed I've got topo maps right off the Permit Central website showing that his backyard was nothing but a hillside and the water just went right across there. All the stuff that he did, he built it up. Now the water goes straight down the property line behind his shed and then down the hill. Nothing I could do. I didn't do anything. He did everything. And then they tried to charge me with water management. Once they figured that wasn't right, then they tried to charge me with sediment control. And I told you they came out with a major lawsuit trying to come at my family and myself. It's wrong. All based on lies, all based on the lies of my neighbor. And I've got him proven liar in court, perjuring himself and everything. And the facts are all there. He sent Sean Harmon out, who I've had problems with, who decided he did not want to or could not do his job at my house. He was an inspector, didn't do his job. Then he was a permit. He went over to permits. He failed my permit for no reason, out of vengeance. Then he was back on inspections where he inspected my property and caused problems. Now he's back on permits. I don't understand it. But like I said, then they tried to charge me with that major court case, everything. They filed a court case against me and then they dropped it. I didn't even do anything because they dropped it because they knew they didn't have anything. All right. Bruce Crace, I labeled him a liar because he said he was going to come out and take care of it. And he didn't do it. He didn't do his job, whatever. And now he's going after me for vengeance. I put up a fence. I did everything proper. Put up a fence. They had a thing on their website that said all fences and swimming pools go to your township. They had a rookie working at the desk. I did all my homework. I did everything right. Now they're coming after me for my footers on my fence. Unheard of. Never heard of it before. Even though I did, like I said, I did everything right and tried to find out everything in advance. So they're still coming after me. And then after I came in here a month ago, said, hey, this isn't right. I'm still getting an adjudication letter saying I still need to get a permit to do this excavation work, to do this stuff that was over a year and a half ago that it didn't affect anybody. My lawyer came out. They finally came out and seen me. I think they were going to come out in June, but they messed up because they didn't realize it was a holiday. So then it came out in July, Juneteenth. They came out in July, and it finally came out well over a year later. And Bruce Crace, an inspector, and prosecutor, and they came out. They walked the property. They couldn't find anything going on. And the inspector even looked at all the grass. Everything's nice. And the inspector said that sediment is out of the sediment. All the grass was growing. So he said sediment control is off the table. And I don't think Bruce Crace liked to hear that, but that was the fact. And I did everything I was supposed to do. Now I filed a complaint about my neighbor's deck. He built a deck back in 2016, no permit. He did it on purpose. He's cheating the system. He put a shed in without permit. He put electric in the shed without permit. He built a retaining wall where he had to drive stakes of some kind into the ground over a 60-foot cliff, and no footers, no nothing. I've got letters here that's saying the building department, they're coming after me for my fence, that a tornado could come and knock it down and it wouldn't hurt anybody.
I'm sorry.
I know, but
cut you off.
they're not doing anything about a fence that's hanging over a 30-foot cliff. And they're saying there's because it stood the test of time. You all hear about deck collapses?
I'm gonna have to cut you off.
I know,
I'm
deck
sorry.
collapse.
Thanks for being here today.
Thank you.
Okay.
Anyone else that'd like to speak during public participation? Please tell us your name and your address.
My name's Nikki Potts. I live at 902 Carpenter Road, Loveland, Ohio, Miami Township. I come with 3 different issues today. You guys know the first one's going to be the dogs. So it's kind of my top priority. I'm going to start out with a poem that kind of puts everything into perspective in my life anyway. God said I need somebody strong enough to pull sleds and find bones, yet gentle enough to love babies and lead the blind. Somebody who will spend all day on a couch with a resting head and supportive eyes to lift the spirits of broken hearts. Someone to be the best and the most loyal friend mankind has ever known. So God created a dog. So my first one is Drax. Drax has been at the shelter for about 30 days. In 2 weeks, he had contacted hookworms. You guys have got to get people in the facility who know veterinary medicine, who are able to get the correct stuff put down on the floor to take care of this. Hookworms are very resistant. They're hard to get rid of. And if you just barely top this, you're not going to get rid of them ever. This here is Samson. Samson's working on his bucket list. He's heartworm positive and is not able to complete the services just because how much he's deteriorated while he's been in the shelter. My next issue with the shelter is that we don't do anything with the livestock. So we send things to a rescue that's not in Clermont County. This rescue received this horse, didn't properly rehabilitate it, and a child is sitting with a broken tailbone because this basically was a bronc once you put a saddle on it. That's unacceptable. We send our horses to this facility. We've got to do better. And then as far as, these dogs, I doubt anybody in that whole facility has been fear-free trained. You're taking these dogs from people, putting them in a shelter across from a gun range, and they're really stressed. When you look at the pictures that are posted, it is heartbreaking that you can see in just about every single picture something the kennel staff is doing wrong. And it's just a matter of time till somebody really gets bit bad. And I know that there's been a couple cases where people have been bit pretty bad, but when you stand over top of a dog and you do not do any type of training to teach these people about dog behavior, you're going to end up in a huge problem. You see these dogs, they're wide eyes, they're licking their lips, their posture, their tail tucked. I mean, every single sign that somebody who is trained would see as we're standing over top of them taking pictures. My next thing is comes down to the senior services, and I know that I have to get going because I'm not going to have much time. But we need to do something different. Do you know that when seniors have a court case, it's done on Zoom? How many seniors understand how to do Zoom? How many 86-year-old men understand Zoom? Seriously. So I'm going to try to get through this pretty quick. It's a song that hits pretty close to home. It's by Cody Johnson. And it says, they came in thinking top dollar, that old cotton crop farmer. They knocked on his screen door and he said, Lord, what do you boys need? And they said, all the others went and cashed out. We got that subdivision all mapped out. It'll sit right here on this land, and you will leave town a rich man. And he said, boys, whatever you're offering, it won't be enough. Because I got a little girl that used to swing right there, and I see her pink bow and her brown hair. She's in the big city, but she still calls home. What's she going to do if she comes back and we're gone? And over there, under that white oak tree, beneath the cross, is where my best buddy's buried. Lasted 13 hunting seasons running strong. Keep your money, because a man can't leave his dog. And over there is where I got down on one knee. You can't buy that kind of dirt cheap. There's a man sitting in a nursing home that was put there by senior services, and he's about to lose his land. He doesn't want to go for dirt cheap. Off a Zoom call.
Thank you, Ms. Potts. Anyone else like to speak? Mr. Hicks?
These guys.
We ready?
Sure.
So my name is Chris Hicks. I live at 444 Woodward Court, Cincinnati, Ohio, 45255. And I'm going to talk about the shelter and the bid. And Nikki, I love you and I appreciate you talking about giving a poem, pictures, songs. Do you understand they don't care? If they cared about that kind of stuff, that emotional stuff, look at the picture of the sad dog, they would have done stuff a long time ago. They're only going to do stuff based on brute force. They're only going to do stuff based on a relentless focus on one thing and one thing only: get the shelter out to bid so we can get a competent, humane society, and not an interim shelter director that goes on TV and says she has no idea how to run a shelter. It's funny what you said. You mentioned, so what I was going to hit on is that on November 2nd, we had the forum on the roundtable on the shelter. Nobody from the county came because somebody accused me of being a bully for telling Claire Corcoran to shove it. Okay. But the reality is the bully is the person that has power over others, and they only like it when they have a situation like this. And if I say something out of line, she's going to look at him, wanting me to get hauled out of the room by Mr. Berger there. Okay. They like that. They're afraid to come to things that are open, where they have to interact with us as regular people. That's why not one of these people had a single meet the candidate event for the public during their whole election. Not one, zero. They just assume it doesn't matter. F you, citizens. We're just entitled to this. So on the 2nd, we had the event at the Miami Township Library. I thought the highlight was CARES came and talked, and they provided. I mean, it's a shame that you guys don't even have the balls to come and sit there and listen, not saying anything, which you could do. But they came and they went through 20. I'd asked them beforehand, come up with the 10 key critical success factors for a shelter. And what they came with 20. So I wanted to know from them, hey, when were you having the discussion on 10 where you said we can't get 10, we're going to have 20? But they went through these. And it's funny, I circled, before you talked, Nikki, I circled number 4 because I was trying to think sitting there, it was all good. It all made you think a lot about, it's like, let's pretend that somebody was talking about running a daycare for humans. And they came up here, and I'm not making fun of anybody, and said, well, I was mayor of Walton, Kentucky, so I can do it. I was in the Navy, so I can do it. It doesn't work that way. And so I circled number 4 on this list, and that had to do with understanding basically dog psychology, fear-free, understanding their expressions when they're operating as a pack versus as individual dogs. And we don't know that. These people don't have a clue. It just became so evident with a medical professional sitting there and the 2 other people from CARES, how much we have no clue. We come in here and talk about we just need to get more people in there. That's not going to fix anything unless there are people that understand these things. It's kind of become a joke. I looked at your agenda online. I didn't study it here, but I didn't see one thing on the agenda online. So I know it's the early agenda. Maybe it's on the agenda now about the shelter. Because I'm sitting here thinking, well, these guys, they got reelected. So F the citizens. We need, let's take another 6 months to get a bid out. I keep reminding everyone that they already had a bid several years ago. The issue wasn't the bid. The issue was the price. But all of a sudden, they can't figure out how to get a bid out the door. It's going to take them months to figure out how to get a bid out the door. On these sheets from the event, there's a QR code that they put on here on the back, and that's to this document. I put this QR code on here, and that's to video of the meeting. So that maybe you guys would humble yourselves to watch, try to learn, use this sheet to make some notes. Maybe Angie, maybe you should do that. Angie, She's looking off to the side. Angie Livesey's back there, and all she's doing is staring at that clock for when my time's up. Honest to God, they probably won't show that on the video, but all she was doing is staring at the clock. When is his time up? Why don't you just stand up and say, F you, Citizen Hicks? Okay. In my last 42 seconds, so you guys can use this. The QR code's on there. I handed out some copies. In my last 42 seconds, I've tried again and again to get you guys to let me film in the shelter. Okay, so it never works. So let me ask it a different way. When can we arrange that one of you or Angie, escort me through the shelter to film? Claire, will you do that? You and I can do it together. You can invite a witness. You can have somebody from the sheriff's office there. Will you do that? Mr. Painter, will you do that?
Mr. Hicks, what do you want to see at the shelter?
I want to go in the back of the shelter. So because somehow you guys have created this crazy world where you have kept it secret.
There's no crazy.
So then you'll agree to do
I
that.
ask you a question.
Will you agree to do it?
I've asked you a question.
It's kind of like making a records request, Mr. Painter. I think you know why I want to film in the back of the shelter. It's almost ridiculous that you're sitting here asking me this. So I'm going to come back to my question is I want to see what the conditions are in the back of the shelter.
Okay.
So will you agree to go with me? We can do it together. Pick a day. We'll go together and you can escort me through.
Work in the back of the shelter as volunteers and they take training to do.
So the answer again is no.
Are you willing to volunteer?
No, I just want to film. Did the press have to volunteer?
No.
Did the press have to volunteer? So this is once again, same thing.
No.
Always something. I have to do something. These people, well, they don't run for office and tell
Mr. Hicks, your time's up.
They don't run for office. You let the other guy go over.
Mr. Hicks, your time's up.
So they let you interrupted me too.
Mr. Hicks, your
So
time's
they-
up. You've run out of time. You are impacting the forward motion of this meeting.
Okay.
Your
You
time's
see the
up.
way this operates.
Your time's up.
You see the way this operates. These guys do not give a rat's ass about the animals.
Thanks for coming and speaking with us today. Anyone else? You've already spoke. Anyone else that'd like to speak? Yes, ma'am.
Can I just ask when the volunteers are going to be reinstated at the shelter?
You have to go to the podium and tell
There's no training currently.
You have to go to
You have to go to the podium, state your name and your address.
Sandra Schaller Burkmeyer, 1874 Woodville Pike, Goshen, Ohio. And I just wondered when the volunteers are going to be able to go back to the shelter, because apparently we understand there's none of this information going out now that they can become volunteers with,
That's
whatever you were talking about. So we'd just like to know when that's going to happen again.
absolutely. So I'll defer that question. Angie, could you just come up and touch base on the volunteer situation at the shelter?
Yes, so we have a lot of volunteers that are actively in the shelter right now. I don't want the world to think that we don't, because we do. We are revisiting our volunteer policy. I'm working on that with our outside counsel right now. We're going to get all of those updated, all the agreements updated. We realize that people have been trained as volunteers a while ago. We need to revisit that. So I hope to have a date probably early December for our next volunteer orientation.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Does that answer your question, ma'am? Thank you. Seeing no one else to participate, I'll close public participation. We'll move on with the meeting. Thank you. Item number D is the consent agenda. Board, you've had the consent agenda early, had the opportunity to review it, ask any questions or get clarifications. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Make the motion.
I'll second it.
It's been moved in second. Roll call.
Commissioner Corcoran.
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes.
Commissioner Painter.
Yes. We'll move on to the non-consent agenda. Non-consent starts on page 8 with item number 11. The recommendation of the Board of County Commissioners adopt a resolution number 134-24 to approve payment to vendors in the total amount of $5,273,909.85 as outlined in the BCC approval invoice report for checks dated November 13th, 2024, BCC directed prepaid invoice reports, and the procurement card transaction report as presented by the county auditor on 11/12/24, and further authorizing the county auditor to issue warrants pursuant to Section 319.16 of the Ohio Revised Code. Board, do I have a motion to approve payment of the bills?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Been moved and second. Roll call, Gail.
Commissioner Batchelor?
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran?
Yes.
Commissioner Painter?
Yes. Item number 12. Morning, Leanne.
Morning, Leanne.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
So I am here, Leanne Watson, Executive Director at the Clermont County Mental Health and Recovery Board. I'm here regarding execution of the subrecipient grant agreement with the Clermont County Mental Health and Recovery Board to develop and construct the Crisis Receiving Center, and to present recommendation to authorize David L. Painter, President of the Board, or in his absence, any other member of the Board of County Commissioners to execute the subrecipient agreement between the Board of Commissioners and the Clermont County Mental Health and Recovery Board at the address 2337 Clermont Center Drive, Batavia, Ohio 45103, in an amount not to exceed $1,391,254.37 from funds received as part of the American Rescue Plan Act, ARPA, relative to the development and construction of the Clermont County Mental Health and Recovery Board Crisis Receiving Center project.
Board, you've heard the reading of item number 12. Do I have a motion for approval?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Been moved and second. Any further discussion, comments? It's been a long time coming.
It sure has.
You bet. You know, this is the next step in what Clermont County needs to, continue to be active and provide a path forward for those that are impacted.
Indeed. Yes, this will be.
And is exactly what the opiate settlement was all about.
Yes, it is. We
So
thank you
thanks.
for this.
Thanks for staying diligent. I know you had some help. I think Sheriff-elect Stratton has been
Indeed.
involved in that for a long time, and a whole coalition of people. So
Absolutely.
we
Didn't
appreciate
do
it.
this alone, so we appreciate the support.
You bet. Roll call, Gail.
Commissioner Corcoran?
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor?
Yes.
Commissioner Painter?
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
You bet. Item number 13.
Hi, good morning.
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 Stephanie Ross on behalf of the Clermont County Prosecutor's Office. This is for item number 13, the 2024-2025 Victims of Crime, VOCA State Victims Assistance Act, the SVAA grant award and acceptance for the Ohio Crime Victim Assistance Funds from the state of Ohio, from the Office of the Attorney General for the continuation of the Clermont County Court of Common Pleas, municipal and juvenile court advocate programs. So based on the recommendation to authorize David L. Painter, President of the Board of County Commissioners, or in his absence, any other members of the Board of County Commissioners to execute the 2024-2025 Victims of Crime and State Victims Assistance Act grant award and acceptance forms for the stated grant numbers 2025 VOCA 135899141 and 2025 SVAA 135899145 as required for Ohio Crime Victim Assistance Funds from the state of Ohio Office of the Attorney General for the continuation of the advocate programs to provide and or extend victim advocate services to the Clermont County Court of Common Pleas, municipal court, and juvenile court implemented by the prosecuting attorney in the amounts listed below for the period of October 1st, 2024 through September 30th of 2025 in concert with the application approved by the Board of County Commissioners on July 17th of 2024 and in compliance with the terms and conditions of the grant program. So the VOCA grant amount is $59,630. That is funded by the Department of Justice. It's an 80% grant. The 20% required local cash match is $14,908. That will come from the 2024-2025 Prosecutor's Office General Fund Appropriations. And then the SVAA grant is $6,586, and that is 100% funded by the Department of Justice for a project total of $81,124.
Board, you've heard the reading of item number 13. Do I have a motion for approval?
I'll make the motion.
I have a second.
Been moved and second. Any further conversation or discussion? Roll call, Gail.
Commissioner Batchelor?
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran? Commissioner Painter?
Yes. Thank you, Stephanie. Item number 14.
Morning, Pam.
Morning.
Pam Haverkos, Clermont County Emergency Management Agency Director. Item number 14 is a recommendation to authorize David L. Painter, President of the Board of County Commissioners, or in his absence, any other member of the Board of County Commissioners, to execute a service contract between the Clermont County Board of Commissioners and the Greater Cincinnati Hazardous Materials Unit, Inc., located in Cincinnati, Ohio, for the provision of hazardous materials preparedness, response, containment, and mitigation for the County of Clermont in the amount of $25,163.78 for the period of January 1st, 2025 through December 31st of 2025, in compliance with the terms and conditions of the contract and contingent upon the adoption of the annual appropriations for fiscal year 2025 and the issuance of the required purchase order.
Board, you've heard the reading of item number 14. Do I have a motion for approval?
Make the motion.
Second.
It's been moved and second. Any further conversation? Roll call, Gail.
Commissioner Corcoran.
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor. Commissioner Painter.
Yes. Thank you, Pam.
Thank you.
Item 15.
Item number 15 is a recommendation to acknowledge the extension of the notification service subscription agreement between the County of Clermont, Ohio and OnSolve LLC, located in Ormond Beach, Florida, previously ratified by the Board of County Commissioners on February 21st of 2018 and subsequently renewed 6 times for the use of the Integrated Public Alert and Warning System, known as IPAWS, compatible software platform through Code Red by the Clermont County Emergency Management Agency pursuant to Article 4.1 of Exhibit A entitled Terms of the Notification Services Subscription Agreement for the first of 2 renewals at a rate of $1,524.20 effective January 1st of 2025 through December 31st of 2025. With all terms and conditions of the original agreement to remain in full force and effect and contingent upon the adoption of the annual appropriations for fiscal year 25 and the issuance of the required purchase order. So what this software platform allows us to do is to access FEMA's integrated public alert and warning system, which then allows us to send out a wireless emergency alert, which would ping cell phone carriers, as well as it also hits that emergency alert system, which is the television and radio broadcast system. So it allows us to send out that quick emergency alert if we had a major emergency where we needed to communicate with the public quickly.
Board, you've heard the reading of item number 15. Do I have a motion for approval?
I'll make the motion. Second.
It's been moved and second. Any further conversation? Roll call, Gail.
Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran.
Yes.
Commissioner Painter.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Pam. Item number 16. Hi, Dottie.
Dottie Meyer, on behalf of Department of Job and Family Services, in an effort to add to the potential safety of our workers out in the field. I'm here today to make the recommendation to the board to execute a Vistage GPS vendor services agreement with the Vistage Group LLC. It's a company out of North Carolina, as well as an attached non-appropriation of funds addendum and equipment maintenance agreement rider for the lease of 32 PERSA Duress GPS tracking devices. They're pan buttons that are on a lanyard to be utilized by the staff of the Department of Job and Family Services in the event of work-related emergency situations at the rate of $35.49 per device per month, with a total payment of $1,135.58 per month, for a total cost not to exceed $40,884.48, effective upon the execution of a period of 36 months, with the option to reduce the number of devices after the first 1-year period by up to 10 devices, subject to a termination fee of $100 per device, in compliance with the terms and conditions of the agreement and contingent upon the adoption of the annual appropriations for the fiscal year of 2025 and the issuance of the required purchase order. These are lanyard panic buttons that when our DJF workers are out in the field away from the office, that if they're concerned for their safety, they can hit the panic button. It's got an inlaid GPS device that would then connect emergency services and allow them to know that one of the DJFS workers, whether it be a CPS worker, public assistance worker, OMJ worker, needs assistance and where their location would be.
Okay. Board, you've heard the reading of item number 16. Do I have a motion for approval?
I'll make the motion. I'll second.
It's been moved and second. Any further conversation or discussion? Roll call, Gail.
Commissioner Corcoran.
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes.
Commissioner Painter.
Yes.
Thank you all.
Thanks for looking out for the safety of your employees. Item number 17.
Morning.
Morning.
Desmond Mayada, Department of Community and Economic Development. Item 17 is a recommendation to authorize David L. Painter, President of the Board, or in his absence, any other member of the Board of County Commissioners, to execute the subrecipient agreement between the Board of Commissioners and Clermont Housing Corporation, 65 South Market Street, Batavia, Ohio, 45103, in an amount not to exceed $5,128,256 from funds received as part of the American Rescue Plan Act, ARPA, relative to the development and construction of the Veterans Village Affordable Housing Project located in Franklin Township, Clermont County, Ohio.
Board, you've heard the reading of item number 17. Do I have a motion for approval?
I will gladly make that motion.
I will second for you.
It's been moved and it's been second. Any further conversation or discussion? Yeah, go ahead.
Can I just add, this has been a project that's been in work now about a year and a half, I think. Desmond, we've been working on this. And with this monies, we have enough to build the 28 cottages for the homeless veterans in Clermont County.
And Desmond, would you just want to talk about that for a second, just to let people know kind of overall scope and where this is located and who it's going to benefit?
Sure. Yeah, this is certainly we've found, and we're actually in the process of doing a housing study in our department. So we're going to find out part of what we already know. We're certainly have a lack of affordable housing in the county, as do other counties. This will be for veterans at risk of homelessness or homeless, 28 units. Cottages, they're called, 600 to 1,000 square feet. They're for rental. They'll be affordable, so nobody would pay over 30% of their gross income. There'll also be on-site community center, so veterans can receive services, wraparound services, whether that's mental health counseling, drug dependency counseling, job training. So it's really, we think this is a project certainly that can be a model for the rest of the state. So very excited to be a part of it.
And this will be a place where veterans can be, it's not it could be permanent, but it doesn't have to be permanent. It can be a place where those that are seeking help to get back into a productive life can be propped up. And the very first thing for you to be able to do that is to have, stable housing.
Exactly.
And that's what this provides.
Yeah, it's not transitional. Certainly they can stay there once they're in here, as long as they need to stay there. Absolutely.
All right. Gail, roll call.
Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran. Commissioner Painter.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks, Desmond. Item number 18.
Morning, Jeremy.
Good morning. Jeremy Evans, Clermont County Engineer. So item number 18 is recommendation to authorize the transfer of the following road, and the length is outlined below, situated in Union Township, from the Clermont County Public Road System to the Union Township Public Road System. This would be all of Elick Lane, total length of 0.349 miles. These are the two segments of Elick that have been left as dead-end portions with the realignment of Buxton and the new interchange, State Route 32. We've seen a lot of changes in the Eastgate area in recent years. This is not an agenda item that you see very often. I'll remind you, the last time we saw that, it was actually a transfer from the township to the county. When we reconnected portions of Eichholz Road under 275, and then Klepper Lane extending from a dead-end street over to Buxton, we took those on as the county. So we've taken about 6,000 feet of road, and we're giving them back about 1,800. So anyways, I'm happy to answer questions.
Absolutely. You've heard the reading of item number 18. Do I have a motion for approval?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
It's been moved and second. Any further conversation for Jeremy? Roll call. Gail?
Commissioner Corcoran.
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes.
Commissioner Painter.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item number 19.
Item 19 is a recommendation to execute an engagement agreement between the Board of County Commissioners and Keating, Muthing, and Clecamp PLL out of Cincinnati, Ohio, relative to the legal fees for the employment of legal counsel for the closure of the coal ash storage units used at Duke Energy's retired Beckjord Power Station, as outlined therein for calendar year 2024 and 2025.
Board, you've heard the reading of item number 19. Do I have a motion for approval?
I'll make the motion. Second.
It's been moved and second. Any further conversation? Roll call, Gail.
Commissioner Batchelor?
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran? Commissioner Painter?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item number 20. Morning.
Major B.J. Berger, Clermont County Jail Administrator. Item 20 is a recommendation that the Board of County Commissioners acknowledge the contract for services executed by Thomas J. Eigel, County Administrator, on November 11, 2024, between the Board of County Commissioners, Clermont County, Ohio, and Shallow Creek Kennels Incorporated out of Sharpsville, Pennsylvania, for the purchase of one canine supplied by the contractor and the training of one handler chosen by the county to cost of $14,500 for use by the Clermont County Adult Detention Center pursuant to the terms and conditions of the contract.
Board, you've heard the reading of item number 20.
Mr. Painter, I need to just correct the date right there.
Okay.
It's November 6th, actually. We have November 5th on the agenda, but it is corrected to November 6th. He actually signed it then.
Board, with that correction, do I have a motion for approval?
I'll make the motion. I'll second.
It's been moved and second. Any further conversation? Roll call, Gail.
Commissioner Corcoran?
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor?
Yes.
Commissioner Painter?
Yes. Thank you, Major. Item number 21.
Morning. Item number 21 is to recommend the recommendation to execute the extension of contract for services with Clermont Senior Services, Inc. of Batavia, Ohio, for the continuation of the provision of services or facilities to the senior citizens of Clermont County, as those persons are defined in the Older Americans Act of 1965 during calendar year 2025, in conjunction with the 1.3 mil tax levied upon the real property of the County of Clermont, Ohio, and pursuant to Section 1 of the Contract for Senior Services, previously ratified by the Board of County Commissioners on November 3rd, 2021, and in accordance with the letter of intent executed by David L. Painter, President of the Board of County Commissioners on 10/2/2024, with all other terms and conditions in the contract to remain in full force and effect, and contingent upon the adoption of the annual appropriations for fiscal year 2025 and the issuance of the required purchase order.
Board, you've heard the reading of item number 21. Do I have a motion for approval?
I'll make the motion. Second.
Been moved and second. Any further conversation or discussion? Obviously, we have someone here from Senior Services. Any comments that you'd like to make?
I would just like to thank the Board of County Commissioners for approving that extension and allowing our organization to continue to provide essential services to the older adults residing in Clermont County to keep them in their homes safely and as independently as possible.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Roll call, Gail.
Commissioner Batchelor?
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran?
Yes.
Commissioner Painter?
Yes. Thanks, Angie. Item number 22.
Morning, Board.
Morning.
Chris Turner with Clermont County Facilities Management. This is a recommendation to reject all bids heretofore received on September 5th, 2024 for janitorial services pursuant to and in compliance with Chapter 307 of the Ohio Revised Code relative to the terms and conditions of public bidding, and to approve the request to re-advertise for bids for janitorial services pursuant to the specifications, and to authorize the clerk of the board to place a legal notice in the newspaper of general circulation on Thursday, November 21, 2024, with bids to be received until 2 p.m. local time on Thursday, December 5th, 2024, in the office of the Board of County Commissioners at 101 East Main Street, Batavia, Ohio, where they would be publicly open and read aloud. This notice will also be posted in the Clermont County homepage under legal notices at the provided link.
Board, you've heard the reading of item number 22. Do I have a motion for approval?
Make the motion. Second.
Been moved and second. Any further conversation? Roll call, Gail.
Commissioner Corcoran?
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor?
Yes.
Commissioner Painter?
Yes. Thanks, Chris. Item number 23.
Item number 23 is the recommendation to reappoint Robin Sizemore to serve as the county apiary inspector for Clermont County, Ohio for fiscal year 2025, to establish the rate of compensation at $20 per hour with reimbursement for mileage at the current maximum current rate established by the IRS in accordance with the current travel policy adopted by the Board of County Commissioners and in compliance with Section 909.07 of the Ohio Revised Code.
Board, you've heard the reading of item number 23. Do I have a motion for approval?
I'll make the motion. I'll second.
Been moved and second. Further conversation? Roll call, Gail.
Commissioner Batchelor?
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran? Commissioner Painter?
Yes. Item 24.
Item number 24, recommendation to appoint Catherine McBride to serve on the Clermont County Law Library Resource Board for the term beginning 1/1/2025 through 12/31/2029. This is all pursuant to and in compliance with Section 307.511 of the Ohio Revised Code.
Board, you've heard the reading of item number 24. Do I have a motion for approval?
Make the motion. I'll second.
Been moved and second. Roll call, Gail.
Commissioner Corcoran?
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor?
Yes.
Commissioner Painter?
Yes. Item 25.
Item 25 is a recommendation to reappoint W. Stephen Haynes, Clermont County Public Defender, to serve on the Facility Governing Board of the Community-Based Correctional Facility and Program for the term beginning 11/8/2024 and ending 11/7/2027. This is pursuant to and in compliance with Section 2301.51E of the Ohio Revised Code.
Board, you've heard the reading of item 25. Do I have a motion for approval?
I'll make the motion. I'll second.
Been moved and second. Roll call, Gail.
Commissioner Batchelor?
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran?
Yes.
Commissioner Painter?
Yes. Item 26.
Item 26 is a recommendation to appoint Dorothy Meyer, Director, Clermont County Department of Job and Family Services, to serve on the Clermont County Family Services Planning Committee for the purpose of gathering public input and reviewing and making program recommendations in developing and maintaining a community plan to implement Ohio Works First for the term beginning 1/1/2025 through 12/31/2027, pursuant to and in compliance with Section 329.06 of the Ohio Revised Code and other programs established under Chapter 5107, Ohio Works First Program, and Chapter 5108, Prevention, Retention, and Contingency Program of the Ohio Revised Code.
Board, you've heard the reading of item number 26. Do I have a motion for approval?
Make the motion. I'll second.
Been moved and second. Roll call, Gail.
Commissioner Corcoran?
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor?
Yes.
Commissioner Painter?
Yes. And item 27. Hi, Emily.
Good morning, Board. I have a recommendation to resolve to approve and authorize changes in the annual appropriation resolution number 181-23 for calendar year 2024. Let's see, this is a list of supplementals. The first one is a health insurance fund. I do want to make a note. You will see another one of these coming through probably next week. This is for $336,000. Our claims are just very high right now. We've gone through the budget, and this is what is available on the admitted certificate. So we are going through the Budget Commission to get another one to put another supplemental through, but this will get us through another week. Part of our large bills, that was 2 weeks worth of claims, was $500,000. Hopefully, large claims will get stop loss reimbursement on that, but you still have to put the budget in place to pay the bills.
To do it.
So then we have $4,137.27 for the Sheriff's Enforcement and Education Org for other expenses. Then sewer revenue for sewer administration, other expenses, $125,000, and that is for their debt payment. Then sewer revenue, sewer collection, bargaining unit salary, $3,000. All the rest are just year-end adjustments to get through 24. Sewer collection, fringe benefits, $10,000. Sewer treatment, regular salary, $20,000. Sewer treatment, fringe benefits, $15,000. Wastewater lab, bargaining unit salary, $1,000. And fleet maintenance, other expenses for $46,000.
Board, you've heard the reading of item number 27 for additional appropriations. Do I have a motion for approval?
I'll make the motion. I'll second.
It's been moved and second. Any further conversation? Roll call.
Commissioner Batchelor?
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran?
Yes.
Commissioner Painter?
Yes, that concludes our non-consent agenda, and we will move to additions to the agenda. Are there any additions to the agenda?
Yes, there is.
Okay,
And would the representatives from Auburn Housing come up and speak to the Board of County Commissioners?
let us go ahead and add it to the agenda. Board, There is an addition to the agenda for the recommendation to adopt Resolution 13524, authorizing a public health agency agreement between Clermont County and Warren County. Do I have a motion to add this item to the agenda?
I'll make the motion, Dan.
I'll second.
It's been moved and second. Roll call, Gail.
Commissioner Corcoran,
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor,
Yes.
Commissioner Painter.
Yes, the item's been added to the agenda, and I understand you're here from Otterbein. Is that right?
I am a representative. I'm serving as bond counsel. I'm with
Okay.
Parker Graydon. My name is Shannon Martin. I am, my office address is 312 North Patterson Boulevard, Suite 200, Dayton, Ohio, 45402.
Thanks for being here this morning.
Well, thank you very much for adding this to the agenda today. The matter is time sensitive, and Otterbein Homes really appreciates it. The context for this is that Otterbein Homes is undertaking a bond issue that'll be multi-part. It'll include funding for some new money improvements that they're doing at various locations around the state. And it includes a refunding, including a refunding of bonds that were issued in 2020 that included proceeds to fund improvements at facilities in Clermont County. When we have hospital facilities, healthcare facilities, especially when they're located in multiple jurisdictions around the state of Ohio, we take advantage of the collaborative authority that is allowed under Chapter 140 to allow one entity to issue those bonds for efficiency. So we've been going around to about 14 other counties around the state getting approval similar to the resolution that we've presented to you today. The resolution approves a public hospital agency agreement pursuant to which the county would authorize Warren County, Ohio to be the issuer of the new obligations, proceeds of which again are going around to about 15 different locations around the state. Specifically, the refunding for the Clermont County improvements involved improvements made to both Loveland and Batavia facilities that Otterbein operates. I believe those were all independent living units that were improved, and then a wellness center and some other improvements. I can maybe let Chris Green, who's the CFO of Otterbein, elaborate if you're interested or have questions on what was improved.
Absolutely, Chris. Come right on up to the podium.
Hi, as Shannon said, we've got.
Tell them who you are. and where you live.
Sorry, Chris Green. I'm the CFO for Otterbein. Do you address? Okay. We have two nursing homes in Clermont County, one on Buxton and one on Loveland, Miamiville Road. They opened in the 2015, 2016. They're both about $10 million each of investment. And what we are refunding on this is they opened as 50-bed nursing homes. And in 2021, we added 10 beds to each of them. If you've seen them, I've got pictures. They're really like no nursing home you've ever seen.
Drive past it every day.
Yeah, yeah. So we added 10 beds to both of those campuses to make them 60-bed nursing homes. So as part of this refinancing, it's $4 million of what we're doing. But thank you for having me.
And since you are the CFO, I just wanted to apologize to you. My aunt stayed at your Otterbein facility on Buxton Road. She believed that she ran that facility and made the staff there know that all the time. And after she passed at 96 years old, we had a huge pizza party there for the people who'd taken care of her for so long. And it was a great facility. So thanks.
Glad to hear it.
You bet. Any other conversation or discussion? Okay.
Yep.
Real quick, one other
Sure.
thing I would mention. Part of what's being approved is an indemnification agreement, and Otterbein Homes will be indemnifying the county. I think it's important to note the county has no obligations under these bonds. Otterbein remains fully responsible for the payment of the obligations of the issue.
You bet. Thank you. So it was added to the agenda, and so now I would ask for a motion to approve a recommendation to adopt Resolution 135-24, authorizing a public hospital agency agreement between Clermont County, Ohio and Warren County, Ohio, in conjunction with the issuance of a healthcare facilities improvement and refunding revenue bonds series 2024 Otterbein Homes Obligated Group by the County of Warren, Ohio, and authorizing execution of all other documents in connection with the issuance of the said bonds. Do I have a motion for approval?
I'll make the motion. I'll second.
It's been moved and second. Any further conversation or discussion? Roll call, Gail.
Commissioner Batchelor,
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran,
Yes.
Commissioner Painter.
Yes, thank you. Thanks for being here today.
Gail, thank you for giving us
No
the
problem.
documentation in advance. Thank you.
Any other additions to the agenda?
No, sir.
Hearing none, I would move to item G. Item G is a request for an executive session pursuant to section 12122 G2, G3, and G4 of the Ohio Revised Code to first consider the sale of property at competitive bidding or the sale of other disposition of unneeded, obsolete, or unfit for reuse if premature disclosure of information would give an unfair competitive or bargaining advantage to a person whose personal private interest is adverse to the general public interest. Second, to confer with an attorney for the public body concerning disputes involving the public body that are subject to pending or imminent court action. And third, to prepare for or conduct or review negotiations of bargaining sessions with public employees concerning their compensation or other terms and conditions of their employment respectively. Do I have a motion to go into executive session?
I'll make the motion. I'll second.
It's been moved and second. Roll call, Gail.
Commissioner Corcoran,
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor,
Yes.
Commissioner Painter.
Yes, we will move to executive session. We will return and we will conduct further business. Thank you. We have returned from executive session. No decisions or actions were taken, and we will move on with our regular agenda. Item number H is county elected officials discussion. Jessica Powell, our Assistant County Administrator, is here to talk about some fleet maintenance rates. Thanks, Jessica.
Good afternoon, Commissioners.
Good afternoon.
I was ready to start with good morning, but again, Jessica Powell, Assistant County Administrator. I oversee the fleet department, and one of the things that when I first got here, started looking into is the sustainability for the fleet department. So one of the things that we're starting to look into is the billable rate, and then also the fuel charge that we charge out to other departments. So I'll get started on my little speech here I got prepared for you guys. We're enhancing the stability or sustainability in the fleet department, addressing the challenges and implementing change. The fleet department is a vital entity to our organization. It is we face ongoing challenges related to sustainability. For years, we've been getting general fund money supplemented to the fleet department. Throughout the recent analysis and evaluation, we have identified several strategic areas for improvement that can bolster the financial health of the fleet department and ensure its future viability. The first thing is the labor rates, realigning with the market standards. One of the most pressing issues we discovered is the disparity in labor rates. Currently, the fleet department operates at a labor charge of $60 per hour. So if you've had your vehicle worked on recently, the comparable rates at this point are approximately $125 to $195 per hour, depending upon where you go to. If you're going to a dealer, that's about right. We have not changed our rates in 14 years, since 2010. When we did change them, it was $38 and we increased $22 per hour. So that was a major increase there. The increase in skilled labor and the rise in market rates is a necessity at this point, and we need to reevaluate the pricing. So since the onset of COVID, the labor rates have increased quite a bit. Even since I was over in transportation in Wilmington, it went from $150 to $195 an hour, which is crazy. So one of the things that we're wanting to do, the first thing, is to increase the rate for normal vehicles. So this would be like our trucks and our vehicles that each department has. We would increase those labor rates to $75 per hour. That would still be under the comparable rate by quite a bit. However, it would increase our present rates by $15 an hour, which would help the fleet department be a little bit more sustainable. The other recommendation that we have is for the large vehicles, which would be like buses, dump trucks, things like that, large vehicles. We would increase those rates to $125 per hour. The reason for that, although it is a $65 increase, it still remains about $25 cheaper than what we currently could go out and get a comparable mechanic for. So it would still be a savings to the different departments. Let's see. And then the fuel charges. That covers the fleet rates themselves. The fuel charges. Currently, we charge a 5 cents per gallon charge for each different department. So whenever you go fill up, if you get 20 gallons, we charge 5 cents. It's not much. And if you go to a gas station, obviously it's going to be a lot more. So what we're proposing to do is increase to 10 cents per gallon. The reason for this is because obviously we have a new fuel system. And then also the old fuel system, when we were working off of this, it was depleting our money. We were not getting enough money to maintain the system that we currently had. So what we're looking to do is increase up to 10 cents. So it would only be a 5 cent increase. And then with the new Filliger Phase 1 location, our tanks are actually much bigger. So we get a bulk discount. So it'll be about 5 cents cheaper per gallon of gas that we get. So therefore, the departments would actually not see any difference in this. If we increased it to 10 cents, they would have a no change in their actual pricing. However, if we don't get that bulk pricing at some point in time, they would see it. So just want to make sure you guys are aware. The projected outcomes for this and the future directions that we plan to go to, if we do all of these changes that have been proposed, the rate increase for the larger vehicles and the gas, it's about $52,000 per year. That would increase our revenue. That doesn't seem like much. However, we're going to the general fund each and every year for money. We just did an appropriation or supplemental appropriation today, and it's something that we're trying to get to the point where we don't have to do that. So there are other things that are in place that we need to look at eventually to help sustain fleet, but this is one of those things that we can do to help at this point in time as like stage one, and then we can, look at other options for later on down the road. So, any questions?
Jessica, the only question would be, with the rates that you've proposed, it seems, and I'm just taking this from your ability to talk about it in your presentation, it seems that you didn't want to be too overly cautious when it came to those rates. One of the things I would just ask you is just go back and take a look at those rates and see what should the rate be to really cover the cost. I mean, if the rate really is $125 an hour and that rate is, less than it would be on an outside agency, which is great. But in the other rate of $75 an hour, if that rate really should be $85 an hour, then take a look at it and propose what it should be, because obviously you're going to stay under the commercial rates no matter what, because, we're using our own workforce here to do this. But if it's really, a more reasonable rate, make it that, because what you're doing is the departments that actually use the service, right, are having money extracted from their budget to cover it, which comes back into your fleet maintenance budget. But it's all county money, one way or another. So, I would just make the suggestion to, take a look at it. 5 cents additional really isn't a number. If that really should be an additional 10 cents to cover it, then make it 10 cents. Okay?
Yep, we can look at the analysis and reevaluate and go back.
You bet. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you for your analysis.
Great job, by the way. Any other county staff elected official discussions? We will move to item I, which is member comments. Board member comments? We wanted to do a picture today, didn't we? Did we want to have a picture taken?
Of what? Of a birthday?
Don't we have somebody that's on our team that today's their birthday?
I think so. Somebody who's the phantom person who sits in the back that nobody ever sees on camera.
You know what?
David's birthday. It would be David's birthday.
I think it is. What?
Oh, he's so mad. Come on up,
Who
David.
can man the camera
Look
for
at
us?
him.
Come on. Where's your camera?
Oh.
There you go.
This is payback, David.
Make sure you take 5.
Yeah. And make sure that the phone is held vertical and horizontal and all the cute little stuff. You come on down, David. It was Commissioner Painter's idea.
It was not. You
Yeah.
I'm just the one that has
So sorry.
I'm just the one that has to make it happen.
Oh, look at this. Here, you can see him next to him. He's going to hit this. You comb that hair today, didn't you? Yeah.
You got at least 5.
You put up your fingers to make the numbers. Oh, I can't wait till his wife and kids see this one.
Okay, here, I'll do both.
See, thank you.
Gotta say 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, you have to. You have to.
Okay. Let's sing happy birthday.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Lord. Happy. At least say it right.
Because
3,
you're
2, 1.
excited.
Happy birthday.
There you go. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, David. Good job.
He's always behind the camera. He never has.
Well,
he
I'm
never gets
sorry,
out in
I just
front.
ran over you.
No.
You can blame that on Beck and the
I
girls
didn't
up
see
front. Uh-huh.
David, happy birthday, and thanks for being behind the camera for us. We appreciate everything that you do. Board, anything else? Member comments?
No.
Congratulations.
To what?
Being reelected.
Two of you.
Congratulations.
You bet. You bet. That was quite a workout. That was
Certainly
for sure.
was.
That was for sure. Well, if there's nothing else to come before the board, I would ask for a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion to adjourn. I will second.
It's been moved and second. Roll call, Gail.
Commissioner Batchelor,
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran,
Yes.
Commissioner Painter.
Yes, thank you for attending the Clermont County Board of Commissioners meeting today, and we will see you next Wednesday on the 20th. Thank you.